For 2 years, I saved every penny to buy a brand new car for my father's 50th birthday. But everything changed when I heard him tell my mother, "I regret the day this fool was born." That night, I walked out. A week later, he came begging. I was 23, still living under their roof, still craving approval from two people who likely never wanted me there. James and Lisa. Once, I called them Dad and Mom, but that ended the moment I heard their conversation. Something inside me snapped that night. Whatever respect I had left for them vanished. And when respect is gone, so are the titles. You don't call someone Dad after they say they wish you didn't exist. For 2 years, I worked tirelessly. Day shifts at a storage facility, freelance design projects at night, barely sleeping, just to save up. Every extra dollar went into a secret fund. I had a plan. James's 50th birthday was approaching, and I was going to surprise him with a sleek, new sports car, the same model he'd always admired whenever we passed one on the road. I imagined his reaction when I handed him the keys. That dream kept me going. I thought maybe, just maybe, this would be the moment he finally saw me as more than a burden. The only person who knew was my grandfather, Robert. A retired mechanic, Robert was the only sensible one in the family. He'd warned me more than once that James was a manipulator, someone who coasted through life playing the victim. "He's never earned a thing," Robert would say. And he resents anyone who reminds him of that, especially you. Years ago, Robert told me the family inheritance would come to me, not his son. I never asked for it, never cared, but James must have known. It explained so much. He never hit me, but his words? They cut deep. Every conversation felt like a power struggle, and Lisa was always there to back him up. If James insulted me, she'd say I was too sensitive. If I stood up for myself, she'd accuse me of starting drama. It was like they saw me as a problem they couldn't get rid of. Still, I kept saving. I loved my room, the posters, the old keyboard, the small window overlooking the street. It was my sanctuary, even if nothing else in that house felt like home. I rarely had friends over, rarely went out. I was focused. I was so close. The dealership had the car reserved. All I had to do was show up and pay. Then, one sleepless night, everything shattered. I was watching something mindless on TV when, around 1 a.m., I got up for water. Passing their room, I heard my name. Their door was slightly open. Lisa was saying she didn't understand why I worked so much. James laughed. "Because he thinks he's better than us." Then he said it. "I regret the day this fool was born." Just like that. No hesitation. And Lisa didn't even flinch. She chuckled. Well, Robert always did favor him. I stood there, frozen, not angry, just done. There's a point where disappointment doesn't even hurt anymore. It just confirms what you already knew. I returned to my room, packed a bag, grabbed my laptop, my savings, and the printed photo of the car I'd been saving for. By sunrise, I was at Robert's doorstep. He opened the door, took one look at me, and said, "So he finally showed his true colors." I moved in that day. Robert didn't ask questions, just showed me to the guest room and said, "You're home now." A week later, James texted me. The first message in over a year. That wasn't a complaint. "Still getting me that birthday gift?" That's when I knew Robert had told him about the car. Now James wanted it. I didn't reply, just stared at my phone, sipping bitter coffee at Robert's kitchen table. He walked in, saw my face, and didn't need to ask. "He texted you?" I nodded. "Wants to know if he's still getting the car." Robert shook his head. "He didn't want you, but he'll take the car." I laughed, but it wasn't funny. Later, the landline rang. Robert answered, and I knew immediately who it was. "No, James. He's not coming back. You made sure of that." His voice was firm. I could only hear Robert's side, but it was clear James wasn't giving up. What gift? Oh, you mean the car you don't deserve? The one he worked himself to the bone for while you trash-talked him? A pause. Then Robert did something unexpected. He laughed, sharp, mocking. You're not manipulating him like you do everyone else, James. You're owed nothing. Robert glanced at me. You want the car? Come ask him yourself. Then he hung up. He'll be here soon, Robert said. Brace yourself. I didn't respond, just went to my room and stared at the car's photo again. The idea of James showing up, actually asking for something, felt surreal. He'd never asked me for anything in his life, only demanded. Around 5 p.m., a car pulled up. Not his, Lisa's. I watched from the window as James stepped out, dressed in a wrinkled dress shirt like he was going to an interview. Lisa stayed in the car. Of course. He rang the doorbell. Robert didn't move. You want to answer it? I did. James stood there, forcing composure, like a man trying to swallow a pill too big for his throat. We stared at each other, then he cleared his throat. I heard you were planning something for my birthday. He smiled like we were old friends. I didn't answer, just turned and walked inside. He followed, glancing around like the house offended him. Robert sat in his recliner, arms crossed. Go on, James. Ask him. James tensed, but he swallowed his pride. I just heard you were buying a car. Thought maybe, after everything, you'd still want to give it to me. I raised an eyebrow. After everything? You mean like when you told Lisa you wish I was never born? He blinked. No reply. The silence said everything. I was going to give you the car, I said. It was reserved. All you had to do was not stab me in the back. You can't take back a gift, he said, desperation creeping in. It's not yours anymore, Robert cut in. Now leave before you humiliate yourself further. James stood there, that same blank stare he always had when things didn't go his way. Then he muttered something and turned to leave. You still have my number, he said to me. If you change your mind. When the door closed, Robert sighed and grabbed the remote. He'll be back. They always come back when there's something to take. I believed him. But the next day, it wasn't James who showed up. It was Lisa, alone. The doorbell rang midday. I was in the garage helping Robert organize tools when we heard it. Told you, he muttered. I expected James. But when I opened the door, Lisa stood there. No makeup, oversized sunglasses, clutching a container of food like we were still a happy family. Hi, Mark, she said, forcing warmth. I hadn't heard her say my name like that in years. I leaned against the doorframe. Here to fetch him? No, she said. I came alone. Robert stepped up behind me, wiping his hands on a rag. Well, look who finally left her castle. Lisa forced a smile. Can I come in? Robert opened the screen door but said nothing. I walked to the kitchen, waiting for whatever act she was about to perform. She followed and set the container on the counter. I made your favorite, lasagna, she said. Thought you might miss home cooking. I stared at it like it was evidence. You haven't cooked for me in years. She paused. I'm trying, Mark. Trying what? To rewrite history? I know James hurt you. He shouldn't have said what he did. He didn't say it to me. He said it about me. To you. And you laughed. She went quiet, scrambling for a rehearsed line. She glanced at Robert, but he just poured coffee, ignoring her. I didn't mean it like that, she finally said. I crossed my arms. Then how did you mean it? She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. You know, if it weren't for Robert, I'd still be there thinking I was the problem. You were never the problem, she said quickly. James is just under pressure. There it is, Robert muttered. That same old excuse. Lisa turned to him. You think I don't know who he is? I've been married to him for 30 years. He's still my husband, but that doesn't mean I'm blind. Silence. Then she spoke again, softer. He really thought you'd still give him the car. He's been looking up colors online. I said nothing. He's angry now, but he'll get over it. Why are you really here? I asked. She blinked. If this is just about damage control, leave the lasagna and go. She recoiled like I'd slapped her. Then her mask slipped, and for the first time in years, I saw real emotion. He's unraveling, Mark, she said. Robert telling him you'd inherit everything. It broke him. You know how he is. That's why you're here, Robert said. Not for him, for yourself. She didn't deny it. I just don't want this family to fall apart. I laughed. It was never together. She stood there a moment longer, then turned and left, without the lasagna. After she was gone, Robert and I sat in silence. Then he said something that stuck. She's scared. Because deep down, she knows it's over. Not just the car, everything. That night, James called. I ignored it. But the next day, someone else arrived. Uncle Derek. When I saw Derek's truck pull in, I knew something was up. He wasn't one for unannounced visits. He lived hours away, hated traffic, and always joked that gas was too pricey for social calls. He stepped out with 2 coffees, grinning. Heard you shook things up in Jamestown. Robert chuckled from his workbench. Here to witness the fallout? Nah, Derek said, handing me a coffee. I'm here to help burn it down. Derek was James's only brother, and they were nothing alike. A contractor who'd raised 2 kids solo after a divorce. Derek worked hard, never complained, and had always been kind to me. He sat down. Let me get this straight. You worked 2 years to buy him a car, and the night before you were going to hand it over, he tells Lisa he wishes you were never born. I nodded. And she laughed. Another nod. Jesus, he muttered. And now he still wants the car? Robert filled him in. James's text, Lisa's lasagna performance, James's tantrum. Derek leaned forward. Here's the plan. When's the birthday? 3 days, I said. Perfect. You haven't canceled anything yet? No, the car's still reserved. Even better. Derek pulled out his phone. I've got every relative's number. I'll tell them James's party is off, and I'll tell them why. Word for word what he said about you. He smirked. People lose their appetite for free cake real fast when they hear the host wishes his own kid didn't exist. I was stunned. You'd do that? Mark, I should have stepped in years ago. I watched that man treat you like dirt while Lisa enabled him. Enough's enough. Within an hour, Derek was on the phone. Relatives, aunts, cousins. He didn't sugarcoat it. By the end of the day, the party was dead. The only guests James would have were Lisa and maybe a deflating balloon. But Derek wasn't done. You still got the car? Yeah. Good. We're taking it for a spin, not to him, just a drive. You're the one who deserves it. He grinned. And on his birthday, the 3 of us will show up, not with a gift, just the car, so he knows exactly what he lost. I sat back, smiling. This wasn't revenge. It was the truth finally getting its moment. And James's celebration? It was about to be empty. The day before James's birthday, we picked up the car. It was a deep metallic blue, polished to perfection, its engine humming with a power that turned heads as we drove past. The dealer congratulated me with a firm handshake, oblivious to the storm this car would unleash. I drove it off the lot with Derek in the passenger seat and Robert following in his old truck. We didn't head home. Instead, we took the long route, windows down, music up, the wind rushing through our hair. For the first time in years, I felt weightless. We parked outside James's favorite diner, the place where he'd often hold court, bragging about achievements he never earned. Derek and I sat by the window, sipping coffee, as strangers stopped to admire the car. One man even circled it twice, whistling in appreciation. We didn't say much. There was nothing left to say. By evening, we parked the car in front of Robert's house. I stood there, staring at it, thinking how close I'd come to handing it over to a man who saw me as a mistake. This car was supposed to be his redemption. Now it was proof of his failure. I slept soundly that night. The next morning, we were up early. Derek brought pastries. Robert brewed his famously terrible coffee. At 10 a.m. sharp, we left. Derek in Robert's truck, me behind the wheel of the blue beast. We didn't call ahead, didn't knock. Just rolled up to James's house, engines rumbling like a warning. James stepped outside first, dressed in a garish gold-trimmed shirt, as if today was still about him. Then he saw the car. His jaw dropped. "You actually bought it," he said, voice trembling. "You got the car." I nodded, but didn't hand him anything. He reached out, expecting keys. "You're not giving it to me," he realized. Robert stepped forward. "No, James. It was never yours." James looked around, confused. No relatives, no party, just Lisa peeking through the curtains, unsure how to react. Then he noticed Derek. "You told them not to come." Derek crossed his arms. "Damn right. And I told them why." James's face twisted, rage, shame, then fury. "You think humiliating me makes you a man?" I finally spoke. "I'm not trying to be anything, I'm just done pretending you deserve a single thing from me." For a second, he just stood there. Then he stormed back inside, slamming the door so hard the windows rattled. Robert clapped me on the shoulder. "Now, let's take this car for a proper ride." We left, the engine's growl drowning out whatever shouts followed us. The next morning, the silence was deafening. No calls, no texts, just the car gleaming in Robert's driveway, untouched. I kept staring at it, waiting for regret that never came. That afternoon, I told Robert I needed one last drive. He just nodded. Leave the past where it belongs. I drove for hours. Back roads, highways, nowhere in particular. As the sun set, I found myself at the old gravel lot where James once taught me to drive. It was overgrown now, forgotten, just like his lessons. I parked the car in the center, killed the engine, and sat there. For the first time, it didn't feel like his dream car, or mine. It felt like a chain. I pulled an envelope from the glove box. Inside, the car's paperwork and a note. Not for James, for someone who actually needed a fresh start. A local charity helped foster kids aging out of the system. They'd find a better owner. I left the envelope on the seat, locked the car, and dropped the keys in the charity's after-hours box. Then I walked home, 5 miles under the stars, lighter than I'd ever been. The next morning, 2 messages waited. 1. From the charity. "Thank you. You just changed a life." 2. From James, voicemail. "So you gave it away, to a stranger. Hope it makes you feel big. When Robert's gone, you'll have no one." I deleted it without a second thought. Because here's the truth James will never understand. Being alone beats being surrounded by people who make you wish you were. And for the first time, I was free. If you enjoyed this story and felt the emotions behind it, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more real-life experiences and heartfelt stories. Your support means the world, and it helps us bring more content like this to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.